Wednesday, April 8th, 2026. You are listening to the Daly Dose Sports Podcast, and I am your host, Clint Daly, coming to you from the Mile High City here in Denver, Colorado, and we are back for another week of talking sports with a dose of common sense. Hey, happy Wednesday to you. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope your week is going well, and that you, your family, your friends, everyone in your world is staying strong and healthy right now. And first and foremost, congratulations to those Michigan Wolverines, the winner of the 2025-2026 NCAA tournament on Monday night. Hey, the Wolverines won a rock fight against the UConn Huskies, 69-63, that had, well, almost as many fouls as baskets, it felt like. Some of them called, a lot of them not called. Hey, it was an impressive run for the Wolverines, though, who blew out Arizona in the Final Four by 18. But that game on Monday night, that was a little rough to watch. 34 fouls, 21 turnovers, and the two teams combined to shoot 34% from the field. Yeah, not great. Wolverines' leading scorer, Yaxel Landabor, looked very rough. He went 4 of 13 from the field. UConn head coach Danny Hurley, he did a lot of yelling, did a lot of pouting, wasn't very happy with the officiating. It was a tough game to watch, but congrats to Michigan, and hey, congrats to the Big Ten. They just keep winning titles. One final note to think about with this championship for the Wolverines. With that win, we did see something that we've never seen before. Because no team has ever won the national championship in the same season that its football coach was fired for cause and then arrested on 3 separate charges, including third-degree home invasion. So, I mean, we did see history. And speaking of titles, we also have to announce the winner of the Daly Dose Bracket Challenge. And I will say this might be the worst showing in Dose Bracket Challenge history, just as a group across the board. However, our winner, B. Haggerty 313, hey, they were absolutely dominant, racking up 1,240 points and winning the challenge by 70 points over the next closest competitor. B. Haggerty, here is my message to you. Email the dose at dailydosesports@gmail.com and we will work out the details to get you a Daly Dose t-shirt for winning the bracket challenge. For the record, the mayor comes in second, Mama Joy finishes third, Englert 2, and Daly Dose Jr. tied for fourth, and our defending champion, Billy O, finished in 6th place. Congrats to B. Haggerty, and thank you to everyone who participated in our annual Daly Dose Bracket Challenge. Hey, today on the Dose, the college basketball season is now complete, and we're going to hand out a few annual year-end awards to those that deserve them. Plus, we will have a college basketball flavored Daly Dose Top 5 for you. Can NBA coaches have success collegiately? More on that a little bit later. But let's jump into a story directly related to that, because North Carolina's search for their next head coach has landed in an unexpected place, as the North Carolina Tar Heels have hired longtime NBA coach Michael Malone as their next head coach. Now, don't forget, Malone did win a championship with the Denver Nuggets. He won 510 games in 12 seasons as a head coach in the NBA. He's one of the most well-respected coaches in the NBA. And he's actually spent the last almost year as an ESPN analyst. But Malone will inherit a Tar Heels team that has been looking for a head coach replacement for nearly 2 weeks since they fired Hubert Davis. But let's remember, Malone hasn't coached in college since back in 2001, and he was just an assistant at Manhattan. He was also an assistant at Providence and at Oakland back in the 90s. But Malone's reputation as a coach, it is pretty high. And with college basketball becoming more like pro basketball every year, UNC gets a very good X's and O's coach who did work in the NBA for nearly a quarter century as a head coach and an assistant. And you know that has to have some appeal to recruits. Oh, you know what it takes to play at that next level? You know how to get me ready for that next level? Hey, that's going to carry a little bit of weight. Now, the contract reportedly is worth a yearly average of more than $8 million for 6 seasons. So not bad money for Mike Malone. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not Bill Belichick money. We know the money that guy's getting to coach football there. And it's a good thing it's not Bill Belichick money. Because if it were, Jordan Hudson just might be going to a few more basketball games, I think. Moving over to the NFL, the Las Vegas Raiders have agreed to terms with quarterback Kirk Cousins. Just 2 days after new head coach Clint Kubiak said he wanted to add another veteran quarterback to the roster, they went and got Kirk Cousins. Cousins' agent announced the deal, which will pay the four-time Pro Bowler $20 million in guaranteed money this coming season. It'll also mark the 11th consecutive season that Cousins' contract is fully guaranteed. Yeah, that's actually kind of amazing. The deal also includes a club option for 2 years at $80 million and could be worth up to $172 million over 5 years. But only the first year at $20 million is fully guaranteed. Now, Cousins is 37, and he will join a Raiders team that is widely expected to draft former Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza with their first overall pick in the NFL draft later this month. But do you still draft Mendoza if you're spending $20 million on a guy that walks, talks, looks, and acts like Mendoza? So you're going to spend $20 million on a guy to hold a clipboard? Or are the Raiders actually scheming? Would they trade that pick or select someone else? Or are they actually just going to pay big money to Cousins to be a mentor to Mendoza? Either way, I don't know what Kirk Cousins' agent is making. I know the standard contract is like 5%, but my goodness, give that man a raise. Do you realize Kirk Cousins has generated over $341 million in his career? That's unreal. And you might hear that and go, well, okay, yeah, that sounds all right. Except for his career, Kirk Cousins is 88, 77, and 2 as a starter. He has 298 touchdowns to 131 interceptions, and he is 1-4 in the playoffs. $341 million for that? Hey, who cares about Kirk Cousins? That agent should be in the Hall of Fame. That agent should be negotiating peace in the Middle East. That agent actually should be representing the Daly Dose. What is that agent's number? I need to call that guy. Now, I know I keep saying the NBA sky is falling and people roll their eyes and they think I'm crazy, but I'm bringing you a little bit of proof today. A new study conducted by Yahoo Sports examined how many star players miss TV games this season. Now, the study defined a star player as someone with an All-NBA or All-Star appearance in one of their last 3 seasons. And using that definition, it found that just 32.7% of nationally televised games actually feature a full complement of star players. So about 2 out of 3 national TV games have at least one star player in street clothes. Oh, it gets worse. Only one of the NBA's top 25 scorers this season has played in every game. Who's that? Minnesota Timberwolves forward Julius Randle. Yeah, can't wait to buy tickets to watch him. Only 4 others have even crossed the 70-game mark. Kevin Durant, Jamal Murray, Jalen Brunson, and Brandon Ingram. And again, a little worse, teams usually wait until after shoot-around to announce the absence of star players long after fans have already bought their tickets. In the process, the NBA is just de-incentivizing buying tickets. And don't look now, but various metrics are suggesting the NBA is slipping below both Major League Baseball and definitely below college basketball in popularity. Hey, it's not a coincidence. You gotta play. I know that seems like that would be obvious. Somehow it's not obvious. Adam Silver doesn't get it. I don't know why our popularity is fading. Oh, we don't ever play. Maybe that's why. Finally, it wasn't just the men's NCAA tournament that completed this week. No, the women's tournament also completed on Sunday as well. And right now, we are going to break down what was an incredible tournament on the women's side.
Oh, no you don't. Not again. Sorry.
So the 2025-2026 college basketball season is now complete, and the Michigan Wolverines are the national champions. But of course, nothing is over until we say it's over.
Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is.
And we still need to finish off this season, and we're going to do that right now. We're going to hand out our annual end-of-year awards to those parties that are truly deserving, and to them only. And our first award is, of course, the Player of the Year, and I realize that his season did not end the way that he wanted it to, but who else could we give this to but Duke's freshman forward Cameron Boozer? At 6'9", 250 pounds, he proved he is tough enough to go inside and play through physical play, but he also showed enough range that he can space the floor, he can shoot from outside, and he can make plays with his passing as well. Boozer averaged 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. Hey, he looked like a veteran player, not a freshman. Duke's Cameron Boozer gets our most outstanding player of the year. As for our Coach of the Year award, I've got to give it to Michigan head coach Dusty May. Hey, we knew Michigan was good. I'll be honest, I didn't think they were this good. Yes, they won the Big Ten, which did prove to be the best conference in the country by far, but at times his guards, they showed some flaws. And at times they couldn't shoot it all that well. But Dusty May, he raised their level of play, and this team plays so physical, and they just knock down free throws. As a team, they shoot 75% from the line. You're going to win a lot of games that way. Dusty May brought Ann Arbor their first hoops title since the 80s and just their second in school history. He is our Coach of the Year. Our next award goes to the best game of the tournament, and where else could we go but that Elite Eight game between Duke and Connecticut? And yes, I realize that the game was primarily a blowout for Duke. They led by 19 in the first half. But the two teams combined to shoot 48% from the field. It's pretty good shooting. But then Duke began to turn it over. Connecticut scraped their way back into the game. And with 28 seconds left, Duke led 72-69. UConn got fouled, but they missed one of the free throws with 10 seconds left. Okay, so Duke is going to survive. Just inbound the ball and hold it, make your free throws, and this is over. But then Duke inbounded the ball. They tried to push the ball off the floor. They wanted that big end-of-game dunk, and they turned it over. And UConn's Braylon Mullen splashes a three from the logo to take the lead with 0.3 of a second remaining, and UConn pulls off the upset that will be replayed for years. The UConn-Duke Elite Eight game gets our tournament game of the year. Next up, we have our Mark Madsen Award. Now, if you don't know what that is, we hand out the Mark Madsen Award to the guy that will soon be tearing up the rec leagues. And when you see him in the rec league, you're going to be like, well, who is this guy? He's not even good. He's a garbage player. Bad news, because that guy's going to torch you. He's going to put up like 40 and 15 on you. And of course, this year's Mark Madsen Award has to go to St. Louis Billikens big man Robbie Avila. Yes, he looks like Bubbles on Trailer Park Boys. And he has some of the best nicknames ever with Larry Bird and College Jokic and Milk Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But when you watch him, one, he can barely run. He has no vertical whatsoever, but he's highly intelligent, and he does manage to make the right play most of the time. I'm hoping that Robbie gets a chance in the NBA, but I'm telling you, if not, he's going to be shredding people at the rec center very, very soon. Next up, we hand out our George Mason Award to the team that overachieved the most in the season. And while we could give the nod to Texas, remember they were an 11 seed, and they managed to make it all the way to the Sweet 16. But honestly, Texas should be good. They should be better. They shouldn't have lost 15 games this year. So I'm going to have to give this to the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa began the season unranked. They went 24-13. They finished 9th in the Big Ten. Okay. And they were a number 9 seed in the tournament. So they beat Clemson in the opening round. Then they upset number 1 seeded Florida in the round of 32. Then they beat Nebraska in the Sweet 16 before finally losing to Illinois in the Elite Eight. Hey, Hawkeyes head coach Ben McCollum, he is suddenly a hot commodity. I won't be surprised to see him get snatched up by a bigger name program soon. Congrats to Iowa, our George Mason winner. Next up, the Arizona Award is annually given here at the Daly Dose to the team that was the highest ranked and then did the least with it. And this is a tough one this year. Because for a change, Arizona actually managed to win a few games in the tournament. Then again, they did get blown out by Michigan in the Final Four, but I can't in good conscience give this to Arizona for a change. Now, I kind of want to give this to the Florida Gators for being the first number 1 seed out in the round of 32. But I'm actually going to give this to someone else. Because when the March Madness brackets came out, everyone said the same thing. Okay, Florida's the number 1 seed in the South, but Houston is the number 2 seed in the South, and the South Regional will be played in Houston. So you're telling me Houston is going to be playing home games to get to the Final Four? Oh, this is going to be a cakewalk. Yeah, and then Houston faced Illinois in the Sweet 16, and about midway through the second half, they had managed to outscore me sitting at home on my couch by 24 points. Houston wins our Arizona Award. Our final Daly Dose College Basketball Award is the Kardashian Award. That we hand out to the recipient that gets the most media coverage and then does absolutely nothing. So who is the most hyped player or team that just didn't live up to it in any way? Well, this year I'm going to hand our Kardashian Award to the Kansas Jayhawks, who have the top-rated freshman in Darren Peterson, but still couldn't make it past the second round, as Peterson rarely wanted to play. He kept tapping out of games, saying he had cramps. This group at Kansas was so bad, they just might get head coach Bill Self to retire. Oh, so you're telling me you got a man to despise everything he lives for in life? Oh yeah, that team definitely deserves the Kardashian Award. Hey, remember, you should be stopping by DailyDoseSports.com every single week to see what new things we have going on over there. We have links to the podcast. We have links to videos. We have links to articles each week, so make sure you check that out. You can also find Daly Dose gear over there. If you need a t-shirt, you need a hoodie, you need a sweatshirt, you need a baseball cap, you can find it all at DailyDoseSports.com. And like I mentioned earlier to our winner of our bracket challenge, remember, you can always email the podcast, DailyDoseSports@gmail.com. We do hear from listeners on the regular. Always good to hear from you. Feel free to drop us your thoughts. Now, as we do so many weeks here at the Daily Dose, we need to get over to our Daily Dose Top 5. As we mentioned earlier, former Sacramento Kings and Denver Nuggets head coach Mike Malone is going to be taking over the North Carolina Tar Heels job. Hey, there's no question, Mike Malone can coach. He won an NBA title in Denver. People act like that's just common. No, that, my friends, is no small feat. Remember, Denver has never won anything. The Nuggets never even made it to the conference championship before Mike Malone. But can Mike Malone actually succeed in Chapel Hill? Now, if you missed it, when told that Mike Malone would be taking the job at UNC, former Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski said, well, they did have a Hall of Fame football coach last year, and he still lost to Duke. Yeah, so it's on. Now, Malone was an assistant at the collegiate level, but we have had NBA head coaches that decided to drop down and go give things a try at the collegiate level. Have they had success? Our Daily Dose Top 5 just might give us a clue. Today, we count down the 5 NBA coaches who went and coached college basketball. And let's take a look at how they did. We start off at number 5. And we go to a guy that has actually had a pretty amazing coaching career, and he probably had his best season this past season. Now, this guy played his college ball at Iowa State, and then he was a journeyman player in the NBA for 10 seasons. After his playing career, he went back to Iowa State to coach his alma mater in 2010. He was in Ames for 6 seasons. He led the Cyclones to the tournament 4 times. But we all know money talks. And the Chicago Bulls came calling, and when they did, Fred Hoiberg took a $25 million deal to make the jump to the NBA. He was in Chicago for 3 seasons. He was fired in his 4th season. He went 115 and 155 with the Bulls. In 2019, Hoiberg returned to college basketball, taking the Nebraska Cornhusker job, and he has that program on the rise. This season, the Huskers went 28-7, and Hoiberg led the Huskers to their first tournament win in school history. And then they went all the way to the Sweet 16. Hey, Fred Hoiberg went to the NBA. He kind of struggled. He came back, and he's been pretty good at the collegiate level since he's been back. Fred Hoiberg comes in today at number 5. We go to number 4. And we get to another head coach who has bounced around quite a bit, actually. After playing his college basketball at the University of San Diego, he took a few assistant coaching jobs in the NBA. And in 2002, he would be named the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. Now, these were not those Warriors. These Warrior teams failed to even finish above 500 in 2 seasons. So this guy got fired. In 2006, he was named the head coach of the Sacramento Kings. But he wasn't doing very well. Oh, and then he got popped for a DUI. And once again, Eric Musselman was fired. So after bumping around the D-League for a few years, he decided to go to the college ranks. He ended up getting the Nevada job in 2015. He took him to the tournament twice in 4 years. He then moved on to the University of Arkansas in 2019, and in 5 seasons in Fayetteville, he had them in the tournament 3 times. Musselman is now the head coach at the University of Southern California, and while he hasn't gotten the Trojans to the dance just yet, they're getting better. They almost made it this year. Eric Musselman, he just seems like a better fit at the college level than at the NBA level, and he comes in on our list today at number 4. We arrive at number 3, and we get to a guy that played a little in college at UNC Wilmington, and then, after being a college assistant for a few years, he was named the head coach at the University of Massachusetts in 1988. And he was pretty good at UMass because he recruited guys like Marcus Camby and Carmelo Travieso and Dante Bright. And in 96, John Calipari led the UMass Minutemen to the Final Four. They didn't win it, and he decided to try his hand in the NBA. He got the New Jersey Nets job, but it didn't go well. In 184 games, his team lost 112 of them. So he went back to college. And he took the Memphis job, where once again, he started pulling some incredible recruits, and his Tigers team, with Derrick Rose at point guard, went all the way to the national championship game in 2008. John Calipari would eventually take the Kentucky job, and in 2012, he would win a national championship with guys like Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Following the 2024 season, John Calipari moved on to take the job in Arkansas, and he has now taken him to the tournament twice in 2 years. In his collegiate coaching career, John Calipari is 905 and 286. Hey, he wins. And he seems to be way better in college than he ever was in the NBA. John Calipari comes in at number 3. We reach number 2. And we get to a guy that has had some success in the NBA, but again, he just seems to be a little better suited in college. Now, he played collegiately at UMass back in the 70s, and then eventually he would land the head coaching job at the University of Boston. He then went to Providence, and he took them to the Final Four in 87 with a chubby point guard by the name of Billy Donovan. So Rick Pitino decided to parlay that Providence gig into getting a head coaching gig in the NBA with the New York Knicks. Now, the year before he arrived, the Knicks had won 24 games. In 2 years, Rick Pitino led the Knicks to their first division title in nearly 20 years. But he said he didn't like it. He resigned. He went back to college. He took the Kentucky job. He won the national championship in 1996, but he couldn't stay away from the NBA. He decided to try it again. He went back to the NBA in 97. He took the Boston Celtics job. But this time, it didn't go very well. He'd get fired after going 102 and 146 in his stint in Boston. So he went back to college, this time at Louisville. He won another championship in 2013, but in 2017, he would get let go in lieu of an ugly scandal in which they say he may have been hiring hookers for recruits. Pitino went and coached in Greece for a few seasons. He came back. He went to Iona. And of course, now he is at St. John's. And of course, he is once again winning. Hey, Rick Pitino was a mixed bag at the NBA level. He was also kind of a mixed bag at the college level too, but he's always won at the college level, and Rick Pitino comes in today at number 2. So we reach the number 1 entry on our list of coaches that did coach at the NBA level and then went back to college. And we get to a guy that honestly, he probably did it better than anyone else has ever done it. Because this guy is the only one in history to win a title at both levels. Now, he played at the University of North Carolina, and then he coached a little in the ABA, then at UCLA, then in the NBA. Then he went back to college. In '83, Larry Brown took the job at Kansas, and he led the Kansas Jayhawks to their first championship since the 50s, winning it all with Danny Manning in 1988. But then he left college. He coached the San Antonio Spurs. Then he would coach the Los Angeles Clippers. Then he would coach the Indiana Pacers. Then he would coach the Philadelphia 76ers, where he actually got them to an NBA Finals, but they lost to the Lakers. And then Larry Brown went to Detroit. And in 2004, Larry Brown, with a group of smart guys, tough guys, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, they pulled off one of the biggest NBA Finals upsets in history by beating the Lakers and winning the NBA championship. But I mean, Brown couldn't sit still. He went to the Knicks, he went to the Bobcats, and then eventually he went back to the collegiate level at SMU in 2012. By then, Larry Brown was in his 70s. But he still went 85-39 in 4 seasons at SMU. Larry Brown could just coach. It didn't matter where. He could coach anywhere, and he would win anywhere. Now, can Mike Malone be successful in Chapel Hill? Sure. We know he can coach. But as our list today shows, can you recruit? Because the guys on this list, they were able to recruit. The guys that won at the collegiate level, they got big-time athletes. Mike Malone will either have to be really good at recruiting, or he will have to go hire someone on his staff who is. Otherwise, he's going to have a tough go. You got to have players at that level. We know it's basically a pro league now, but you got to have players. He's going to have a recruiter. Hey, next week on The Dose, of course, we'll be keeping you up to date on what is going on in the world of sports, but I'm actually chasing a guest that is doing some amazing work with youth sports and actually has quite an amazing story to tell. So be sure you tune into The Dose next week, and be sure you let a friend know to do the same. Hey, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for listening to the Daly Dose every week. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for the texts. Thank you for the tweets. But more than anything, thank you for sharing the show, for sharing the videos, and for sharing the articles with someone that you know. We absolutely love it when you do that. Have to say thank you to JSP. Could not do any of this without you. I will see you all next Wednesday. Have a great week, everybody.
Oh, no you don't. Not again. Sorry.